Hello everybody, I'm Scott, and for the next few minutes I'll be taking you on a tour of all our tracking options within Taxbot. By the end of this training, you will know the difference between our auto tracking options and understand how it all works. You'll also know how to enter in trips manually after the trips are already completed. Now, with all this, let's get down to business. The first one we'll talk about is probably our most famous feature, the auto tracking. With auto track, you just turn it on and forget about it. To turn it on, just open the app to the home screen like I have it here, then just flip on the auto track switch. Now, just keep Taxbot open in the background and go driving. Taxbot will do all the work. The way this works is like this. When your car first starts moving, Taxbot will drop a geopin at that GPS point. As you speed up to 20 miles an hour or more, the app will start actively tracking your trip. Once the tracking has started, Taxbot will automatically route back to your starting point to pick up any lost mileage. When you have stopped moving for about 6 to 10 minutes, Taxbot will stop tracking your miles and save your trip as an unclassified expense. We do this in order to save on battery consumption. At the end of your day or week, you can simply classify your trips to add them to your deduction totals. Remember, in order for you to get credit for deduction, you must classify your trips. To do this, simply tap on the Classify Trip button on your home screen. Now you can choose, if you want to save any of these trips as a personal trip, as a business, or whatever you may need to do. To save a trip as personal means that you are saving it to Taxbot, but it will not add into your business deductions. To save a trip as business, just tap on the Save as Business button. And now this opens up the extra options for you. You can choose just what vehicle, as you can see here, or what business you want Taxbot to use. Put in a business description. And then you tap Save, and it saves your trip. Now to test this, you can go into the trips down at the bottom of your screen, and you can see right here the trip I just saved. The other option that you can do here is deleting the trip. If this is one that you just don't even need to save at all, just tap on the trash can. Here, I'll demonstrate right here. And the trip is gone. Or you can merge your trips. Now, just as I said earlier, when you are out driving, if you happen to stop at one place for more than 6 to 10 minutes, Taxbot will automatically save that trip. So after a day, even though it's considered one large business trip, you may have 4 or 5 trips total throughout the day. What you can do is go ahead and merge all these trips just by tapping on the little circle in the right-hand corner. And then you can see at the top of the screen, Merge comes up in green. Just tap on Merge, and it brings all those trips together, and it also adds all the miles together. So now you would just go ahead and classify it as you need to classify it. Nice and easy. Now we know that auto tracking is not for everybody. Some of you have older phones which may not be equipped to work with the auto tracking, or others may want to have a little more control over their tracking. That's where our other tracking options come in. Now we're going to go back to our home screen and watch what happens when I turn off the switch for auto track. The button now changes to Add Trip. If I tap on Add Trip, it brings up these 3 other options. The first one is Start Mileage Tracking. Basically, This gives you the options to be able to start and stop your tracking when you want it to start and stop, not leaving it up to Taxbot to do it automatically. So for example, let's say I am about to go and drive to see a client. When I get in my car, the first thing I'm going to do is tap on Start Mileage Tracking. You can see how the GPS and map hones in right on my exact location. Now, if I started driving, you would see the blue dot following me. And so you are still tracking the trip live, just as with the auto track feature. When I reach my destination, I go ahead and just tap on Stop Trip. And it brings up the three different choices here. Save the trip, which when I tap on that, I'll show it to you in just a second, it brings up the exact same form that you saw before. Save and start another. This is in the case of, let's say, on the way to a business destination, I decide to take a quick side trip to go and meet up with my client John, which only takes a few minutes. If I hit save and start another, it allows me to type in a memo of exactly that I am talking with John and what's going on there, and it will allow me to start the trip up from where I'm leaving off to follow the rest of the destination. Or the last choice is forget the trip, which is pretty obvious that it will just delete the whole trip together. But like I said, I'm going to tap on Save the Trip, and it will bring up that same form that you saw before. Now, in this case, it shows 0 miles because obviously I didn't actually go anywhere. But you can see how it brings in a start and ending address, which would be according to whatever you have just driven. The only difference now in this form from the other one is that it now has the round trip feature. Let's say that I had 5 miles there up on top. If I hit the round trip, it would automatically double those miles. And so you can go ahead and put in the whole trip's amount without tracking both directions. But as before, you'd go ahead and just choose what business you want to attribute this to, as well as the vehicle, and just tap on Save. For the case of these examples, though, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel out of that. And I'm tapping on Add Trip again. Now, the last two options are Manual Mileage and Calculate Mileage. Both of these options are for after the fact. These are for trips that have already been taken place. Let's say, for example, today I went out and saw a few different clients. I went and shown a few houses or whatever the case may be. And I have a general idea of what the mileage was. I know that the round trip was probably about 40 miles altogether. I can go ahead and tap on Manual Mileage. And where the miles box is I can go in and put my total mileage. We'll say 53 miles. Then I can go in and put my start and stop address if I wish. In this case, you don't actually have to put in a start and stop address. But again, the more detail you can put in any of your trips and any of your items, the better. You can again choose round trip. When I tap on that, you can see now how the mileage instantly doubled. And then once again, you would just put in your vehicle and business and then type in a business type. Now, so you don't have to wait for my slow typing. I'm not going to bother with that this time. But then you would just go ahead and tap on Save Trip, and it will go ahead and save that with all of your different trips. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this one again. And now the last option is Calculate Mileage. Calculate Mileage is with the same example. I went around to a few different clients or showing homes or whatever the case is. But this time I really don't know what the total mileage was. But I know the addresses of where I started and stopped. Go into Calculate Mileage, and it brings up a very similar screen. But this time you go in and you can add the addresses manually. Or you can tap on the geopins on the side there, and you can choose current location or whatever you want to do there to be able to help pinpoint things. But in this case, we'll make it a little simple. You can see I put starting location, so it instantly put where I am right now. let's put in, I'm going to type in an ending location here. And whenever I'm putting in addresses, whoops, I always like to put in zip codes just to make things a little more accurate and quicker to find with GPS. I can then go in and choose round trip or not, choose businesses, choose vehicles. Maybe I'll take the DeLorean on this one. And now you can see up on top, it automatically calculated the miles for me. If I wanted to, I can enter it as a round trip, and it automatically doubles the miles. However you want to do it. And then, again, I would hit save, just like before. So you can see how easy it is to be able to track your trips with any of our options. It's all up to you as to which one works best for you. Always feel free to contact us if you need any help, if you have any questions, or just need a little explanation of how things work a little bit more. Give my team a call at 855-482-9268, or you can email us at support@taxbot.com. Or you can even go online to taxbot.com and click on the chat box, and we'll be more than happy to help you with any requests, with any questions, or just anything you're in need of today. As always, feel free to reach out, and happy deducting.